Following the meeting you held with the foreign minister of our country, now we are here, and I am very pleased to be here with you, let me express. And I hope that our meeting will be auspicious for our country and for the whole humanity. In your person, I wish a happy new year to all our friends and all European people, and hope that 2021 will bring about luck, success, and peace for us all. Last year, primarily with coronavirus, we were challenged with many issues. The greatest pandemic of the last century, coronavirus, unfortunately took our beloved ones from us, maybe a relative, maybe a brother or sister or a friend, and it left very deep wounds, the scars, marks of which will not vanish easily. And every fatality is, of course, much, much more significant than bare figures. And this predicament has shown that all of us are on the same ship on board, regardless of religion, ethnicity, or languages. And we have altogether observed that we can succeed as long as we cooperate and stand together. Turkey, on one hand, while trying to offer the best services to our people, continued to provide assistance for all across the world. Without making any discrimination, we have provided medical supply support to 156 countries and 11 international organizations. And we brought more than 100,000 Turkish citizens from abroad back home, and also evacuated more than 500 foreign origin people. And from 90 countries, 18,000 internationals were repatriated through the support we provided. And we did not do all of these just because we expected a financial return from our counterparts, but just because we felt our responsibility for the humanity. As a nation that believes in the strength of solidarity, we will continue with our aid programs. Even though the pandemic has started to spread more with speed, recently the studies about the vaccine now are promising for us all and gives us more hope. And we will very soon start administrating the vaccines developed so far on the basis of voluntary approaches. Following all necessary tests and formalities, we will be putting the vaccines to public use for our own people and for the whole humanity. And I hope that 2021 will be a year during which we will observe the recovery in economy globally and better news to come. Distinguished guests, 2020 in terms of the EU-Turkey relations unfortunately was not an easy year. In the period left behind, many unpleasant issues were dealt with, many of which were artificial. Some countries exerted efforts to solve their bilateral issues in the corridors of the European Union. And the Turkey-EU agenda was abused by taking disguise under the membership of EU. While on one hand this captivated our bilateral relations, on the other it weakens our strategic cooperation And the most important indicator of this is the Eastern Mediterranean and Cyprus issues. In both subjects, Turkey had to endure significant unfairness. However, Turkey has the longest coastline by the Mediterranean. So far, through the energy projects we have materialized, we have contributed significantly to the energy supply safety of Europe. In the Eastern Mediterranean, we do not demand what we do not have rights for. In terms of the hydrocarbon resources available in the region, we are trying to support and defend the legitimate rights and interests of our country. Over maximalist maps, which are never valid, are objected by our country. Over the past months, certain incidents that unfolded, I believe, show that we have determination to protect our rights. Any equation that excludes Turkey and Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus will not produce concrete results, outcomes for peace, and I believe it has been understood now. I would like to reiterate, Turkey is partial with equity, fairness, justice, and sharing, not with conflicts. The Mediterranean should bring us closer to one another and is a sea and is supposed to be one that strengthens all of us, from Algeria to Libya, from Tunisia to Palestine, from Israel to Turkey, from Greece to Spain. The Mediterranean is the roof, the common home for all of our people, for all of us. The Mediterranean should no longer be a location of conflict, and we should make it a basin of cooperation altogether. The Eastern Mediterranean Conference we proposed and brought to the attention of many, I believe, will serve that purpose. And besides creating an energy cooperation forum which will bring all parties together, including Turkish Cyprus, will contribute everyone, we believe. Greece went too far to issue NAF taxes and claim the usage of 10% of the whole Mediterranean, and in particular increasing its illegal actions. We suggest Greece stop its acts that will escalate the tension. With our neighbor Greece, the exploratory talks, which will take start on January 25th, I believe will be the harbinger of many more good outcomes. And the EU has to make sincere self-criticism about issues about the Mediterranean and as well the Cyprus issue. And the EU awarded Greece and Greek Cypriot administration by full membership, even though they refused the proposals made in 2006. But we expect the EU to deliver on its promises. And other than that, the EU have had no high-level contacts with Turkey for Cyprus issue. But on the other hand, we should question what kind of a role the EU can play. In the Cyprus issue, the lessons taken from over the last half century shows that failed solutions will not bring about achievement. Instead of discussing those failed solutions, we should talk about possible concrete solutions. And we want to also save our country from the lines of strained tension in terms of our relations with France, and we are following these steps taken positively by both parties recently. During the term presidency of Portugal, we expect that promising solutions will be produced. Distinguished friends, we share the same geography for over 1,000 years and coexist in the same basin of civilization. Just like it is not possible to read the Turkish history without reading European history, it is again impossible to understand the European history without reading the Turkish one. And for that reason, we have been struggling for full accession to the EU for over 60 years. Despite all the double standards and unfairness we faced over this period, we have never desisted and given up on our target for full membership. And when we took office for the first time in 2002, we said, if necessary, we will call Copenhagen criteria, Ankara criteria, and will continue to march on our path, we said. And over the past 18, 17 years, in terms of expanding the liberties and freedoms of our citizens, we have taken many steps forward. By amending the constitution, we have significantly removed the traces of military coups away. As a country that endured tutelage, junta, or military coups, we put our country back on track of stability, and we have undertaken a silent revolution in our country, and the EU member states called this as the silent revolution of Turkey. From the street protests to terror, from military coups to July 15 bloody coup attempt, we have seen a big share of the silent revolution we have made. As compared to 18 years ago, from democracy to law, in every field of life, Turkey has advanced and progressed beyond one's ability to imagine. And those who closely followed the processes about Turkey must have seen that Turkey was left alone by its European friends, especially the July 15 coup attempt. And in terms of anti-terrorism, Turkey unfortunately could not receive the support and solidarity it expected from Europe. Furthermore, on the night of defiance, July 15, some European leaders portrayed behaviors that supported the coup even, and the FETÖ terrorists that threatened our lives and our country now continue living in Europe without facing any challenge. Likewise, the members of a separatist terrorist organization in the heart of Europe, you are engaged in so-called protests that target our country, our dignity, and myself personally. Even further, in Strasbourg, in Brussels, by way of setting up tents, the doors are opened to these people for the sake of supporting them. Such an image, such a picture is never relevant with friendship, alliance, and solidarity. And it is now understood that our European friends have not fully perceived the meaning of that. How come such terrorists are welcomed and the doors of European Union are opened, wide opened for them to loom large? The main reason for the weakening of the full belief by the Turkish people for Europe is exactly that. And the recently rising xenophobia and Islamophobia further ignites such feelings. Islamophobia, other than threatening the safety of more than 6 million people living in Europe, turns into a big, dark hole, threatening the security and safety of many. I would like to clearly, frankly ask you now, in Turkey, against a church, any church, has there been so far an incident of bombing such sanctuaries or attacks, assaults? On the contrary, such synagogues, churches, and other worship places are restored and opened back for worship by way of paying from our own pocket. When these are all open and clear for everyone to see, in France, in Europe, in Germany, the worship places in many places of Europe are bombed or attacked, and how are we going to explain those? Or the attacks against our religious figures and clergy? How will we explain such incidents? When it comes to fighting against cultural racism, Turkey's activities, I believe, will further strengthen the union. Just like it is a strategic option, choice for us to be willing to access to the EU, it will be an ontological option for the EU as well to provide accession for Turkey into the EU. As Turkey, we have a long-term vision and are willing to create, and we are prepared to create a long-term agenda and a positive atmosphere, and we expect our European friends to adapt the same behaviors. Estimable ambassadors, the meaning of this day is also related with the updating of the March 18 agreement, which has now expired. And this update, I believe, will bring about further momentum and speed to our relations. It should. Last year in March, with the Commission presidents and the presidents of the Council, we came to terms about the update of the March 18 agreement. And as Turkey, we have done our share for this agreement and submitted our proposals for the update, but we have not been reciprocated or received an answer for our proposals for update. And I believe the high-level strategic summits are to be resumed, and we believe these are steps that are in accordance with the principle of Pacta Sunt Servanda. A short while ago, with Charles Michel and also Ursula von der Leyen, the talks we held addressed all those possible steps to be taken. And as well, I made a proposal for them to be hosted in our country, and they responded positively. And I said to Ms. von der Leyen, not only a possible official visit, but also a site visit to the location where we are constructing brick houses for Syrian refugees. I told her, you are responsible for migration policies and interested in those, so let's now go and visit those places together so that you can see clearly what we do. And she also made a promise to contribute for further construction of a higher number of brick houses. But so far we have not received any assistance. But now we have completed almost the half of the 50,000 brick houses we have planned to complete. On the other, the infrastructure-related works are undertaken, and by the time we visit the site, we will have completed the whole project, so you will see what Turkey has done so far in Idlib for the people who are challenged with death and killing in the region, whose lives are at risk. I said, Turkey is a country that shoulders responsibility and load, not transfers the load onto the shoulders of others. And the sacrifices we have made in this regard should never be forgotten. Over the past 6 years, Turkey is the country that hosts the highest number of refugees in the world, and Ms. Ursula von der Leyen also articulated that herself. 6 billion euros of financial assistance was allocated for that, and 3 billion of that has been received, and other 3 would be sent. Were the statements made, but what we have received is not a significant amount, and we are working on a project-oriented perspective, and what we have done is now visible for everyone to see out there and clear. And what we have done so for the refugees was not possible for the figures allocated to us only, impossible, and not only in our own regions, but in many other locations we have camps for refugees, and the refugee camps we have built are not of primitive tents set up in many places of the world. On the contrary, what we have built is a well-structured, well-advanced example of refugee camps, and I hope that this will set an example and be exemplary for the whole world and the EU. And we also visited those refugee camps when she was responsible as a commissioner for refugees. And I said this again, expressed my views to Ursula von der Leyen, and she thinks positively. Only the Syrian origin refugees are about 4 million, and we continuously deliver humanitarian aid to the locations by our borders, while the EU provides 3 billion euros of support for many countries. For very few number of refugees, it has not delivered on its promise to provide 3 plus 3 billion euros of financial assistance. Updating of the customs union, visa liberalization for Turkish citizens, and mileage to be covered in our accession talks are the part of our full accession agenda. And the visa liberalization was a promise that was supposed to be fulfilled by the end of 2014, but it was not fulfilled. And now we are in 2021. Even 2020 is over. And in terms of security and security, we have to further deepen our cooperation. Now, our talks about fight against Daesh. Now I ask, among the EU countries, is there any other country similar to Turkey that puts up a struggle in the most dignified and decent manner? We are that country, and we will have no mercy for those terrorists, and we will do whatever it takes wherever and anywhere we find them. And while Turkey is fighting against PKK and other terrorist organizations, our Western friends unfortunately host them, the members of PYD, YPG, in their own countries and deliver them support, the due support they need when necessary. But a friend speaks the bitter truth, and I have to speak the bitter truth. As a negotiating country, if Turkey does not share all these with you, you should well know that the same trouble will come your way tomorrow. The south borders of Europe and its security starts with the security of Turkey, and it starts from the eastern borders of Turkey, I should remind you. We are together at NATO. If we are at NATO altogether, are we not supposed to continue in the struggle together? Yes, we should. When it comes to anti-terrorism, just like we have not left any NATO member state alone, the other NATO states should not leave us alone. And why do they leave us alone then? In the north of Syria, is there YPG, PKK? Does PKK or YPG and PYD exist? Does Daesh exist and is present? Yes. And as the coalition countries, Germany, France, the UK, and even the USA, in our struggle against them in the region, have they sided with us and stood with us? No, they have not. Thousands of trucks full of ammunition, weapons, were sent to those terror organizations. They were provided with all those, and the terrorist organizations waged war against us using these supplies. And as a NATO country, we fought them, and we will continue to fight them, and we will never step back. Similarly, Libya, Nagorno-Karabakh, some areas, some people refer as problematic locations. In these areas as well, we do not see the essence of our EU relations reflected. We had a coalition with Libyan government with whom we did. We did that against the coup maker Haftar. And the decisions produced in the Berlin conference, were they abided by? No. And did the coup maker Haftar protect himself there in Libya? Yes, he did. And I have to say that if we had not struggled against this coup makers, the National Accord government would have not been there if it was not for us. Our presence there prolonged the life of legitimately recognized government. And with all those measures, Turkey contributed to the security of Europe. So far, we have captured more than 9,000 foreign fighters, terrorist fighters, and we repatriated them all. and as well about 100,000 people whom were identified with conflicts were deported and not allowed into our borders. When it comes to the Daesh members identified by Turkey, some countries, just because they did not take the necessary precautions, fell into situations that made many upset, and Turkey secured its borders and repatriated more than 400,000 innocent people. And our presence in Idlib averted a big humanity tragedy and a big influx of migration. And the training and consultancy support we provided to Libyan government averted a big-scale, possibly bloody war and humanitarian crisis in Upper Karabakh. We ensured the manifestation of justice and the stability that the region was longing for, even if it was possible after 30 years. The Minsk trio failed to find a solution for the matter for the past 30 years, and our Azerbaijani cognates, if you will, were displaced, expelled from their own territories, and we helped them reclaim their own righteous territories. What the Minsk trio could not achieve in 30 years was achieved by Turkey in 3 days. When considering these all from a strategic perspective, it will come clear that the interests of Europe and Turkey overlap. Distinguished friends, 2021, in terms of Turkey-EU relations, is possible to succeed with our personal efforts, and as long as we are prudent, I believe we will accomplish our goals. And we will also visit the European Commission head and talk about all these matters and elaborate on them tete-a-tete. And my foreign minister will visit Brussels in the following weeks, and we will share the agenda about the studies that have almost come to its final stages. And we will also convene with the Comprehensive Economic Group to make a very detailed evaluation of all matters of interest. So I hope that it is important for us to come together and convene at least every 6 months, maybe with me or maybe with my foreign minister. And I believe that we should further strengthen our relations and take those steps forward. This way, you can also inform your countries accordingly. Through the contributions by our all institutions, 2021-2023 European Action Plan of our country has been updated through the guidance you will provide to both Brussels and to your own countries. You are expected to support the turning of a new page in terms of the Turkey-EU relations. For the former term presiding country, Germany, I would like to thank to them for their efforts to further improve our relations, and I wish the best of success to the current term presiding country, Portugal, and the next term presiding country, Slovenia, in their posts. I would like to thank you all very much. I share my love and respect with each and every one of you. Stay in health.